governor issued a statement saying that you were trash during this campaign, his word. I'd like to know how you would describe that.
Well, we've all seen the ads that were run during this campaign. Thank goodness someone in this race did not stoop to that level. And that's one of the reasons why we felt it very important that a justice on the Wisconsin Supreme Court uphold the dignity of the office that we serve. And that's why I ran no negative campaign ads. I do think that the legislature, and I appreciate the governor's comments, the legislature and the governor are going to have to work diligently to try to fix a system that is obviously, to anyone looking at what has happened over the last 2 years, broken. And I urge the legislature to step forward and move on this.
How should they do that?
Well, as each of the members of the Wisconsin Supreme Court have said in the past, we support the concept in general of realistic, meaningful campaign finance reform. The elections belong to the voters of Wisconsin, not to the outside groups that are trying to buy seats on them.
Do you think that change will happen given the current political makeup of the state assembly?
That's for others to answer.
Judge Butler, as we saw, as you watched some of these ads come in, and if you watched these ads, what was running through your mind as you sit there at home watching these ads?
Well, it's kind of like chasing your shadow. When someone puts out false information on a daily basis, and you're constantly responding to it, you know that the voters aren't hearing the whole story. And if cases are misrepresented, if issues are misrepresented, if votes on the court are misrepresented, and you have literally millions of dollars being spent. I mean, if you look at the money, I suspect that when all is said and done, when we count the dollars, independent groups will have outspent our campaign at least 10 to 1, if not more. And if that's the way the elections are being run, then the voters aren't really hearing from the candidates. They're hearing from the outside groups. And as I indicated, they don't have to disclose their agendas, they don't have to disclose their donors, and that's really sending a wrong message to the voters of Wisconsin. We heard throughout the state that voters were turned off by the negative ads. And what unfortunately happened is because ads were run from independent groups on both sides, we were lumped into the middle of this. And even though we did not run one negative ad, that's what people saw and that's what people perceived. And that may explain the low voter turnout. I mean, the predictions, as I understood them, were 20% turnout yesterday, which would have been 875,000 votes. We fell far short of it.
Were there ever any discussions in the campaign, either publicly or privately, where maybe they thought, you know what, maybe we should start fighting fire?
Well, we made our decisions right at the beginning of the campaign, and I want to congratulate Tom Basic, president of the state bar, who wanted to do what he could to try to protect the integrity of our justice system by putting together an independent panel to try to monitor the elections and call out ads that were false or misleading. And the Judicial Integrity Committee went above and beyond its call for duty to try to stand up to the misleading ads that were out there. And I appreciate the work that they did. I appreciate the work that the outside groups looking at this, like Newsweek and the Edinburgh Study Group, WIC-TV, all did to try to bring to light what was happening. But with the money that was being spent, the voters were given a message, and unfortunately we have to deal with it. But I appreciate the support that I've received throughout the state from working men and women throughout who have gone above and beyond to try to help protect the integrity of our justice system.
Do you believe race was a factor in this election?
I believe that you all will have to analyze that as part of your analysis of this election. And we know the ads that were out there. We know how they were portrayed. That's something for you all to decide.
There was some very low turnout, especially in some of the more urban communities. How does that play into this? How do you see that play into this?
Well, I think the low turnout was a function of the negative campaigns. I mean, the whole function of negative campaigning is to suppress voter turnout. You don't want voters coming to the polls. We did everything we could to try to get voters to come to the polls. But if people think that both sides are down in the gutter, even though we weren't, that was the perception, then people will stay home. And that's the messaging that comes out of this race. And that's one of the reasons why we've got to return the campaigns to the candidates and let the candidates reach out to the voters.
So do you regret not running?
Do I regret not running? No. Somebody's got to uphold the dignity of the office.
There's been a lot of talk about the ideological balance shift on the court now. What's your take on the impact that this election is going to have on the court? What will we see?
I don't think anybody knows how Judge Gableman will be on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. I mean, there's not really a track record to look at, so I think we'll just have to wait and see how he functions as a justice.
It's been 40 years since we've had a sitting justice not going back. What happens now procedurally for you? Do you stay involved in cases over the next few weeks, or what's next for you on the Supreme Court?
We have oral arguments on Friday.
And how will you approach the next few weeks till the next justice is sworn in?
Providing justice to all of the people of Wisconsin.
What about after that? Thoughts on plans beyond that?
Well, it's way too soon to think about what life beyond August 1st. Right now, we've got a heavy caseload that we have to deal with on the court, and I intend to fully fulfill my functions as a Supreme Court Justice until August 1st.
Is there any case coming up that's especially interesting to you that you're really going to pay close attention to?
Every single one.
So what do you think this means for next year's race with Chief Justice Shirley?
I think a lot will depend on what happens at the legislative level and what happens with the voters around the state, and that remains to be seen. It's my hope and my prayer that Wisconsin never has to see a race like we just went through.
Have you spoken to Gableman?
I tried to place a call into him this morning. We have not yet reached him. Thanks
Do
very
you think
much.
that her campaign is at a disadvantage because she's a former member of
Terms like liberal or whatever, those are terms that I think people like to label justices with. What members of the court do is interpret and apply the law based on facts of the case. That's what every member of the court attempts to do in their role as a justice. And groups will do what groups will do. That's for others to decide. It's my hope that we clean up the elections in Wisconsin so the voters don't have to see what we've seen in the last 2 years. Thank you all very much.